well as in our personal lives. So it was a complete learning curve, a learning experience from us from day one. And I think one of the most difficult tasks was educating ourselves on understanding how to create a solid export plan, and also understanding exactly what our client, being Miller Lehman, wanted in his export plan, and understanding their business and their niche product for this particular plan. And that was the most difficult aspect part of it, because it was a lot of reading, a ton of reading, and a ton of research that went involved in that. In regards to, as Christine stated, making the contacts abroad. This wasn't a project that we could just, as I like to say, do a search engine paper, or we could just Google it and get the information off the internet and then say, here, this is the export plan. But we had to make those contacts. We had to send those emails out. And as she stated, there was a lot of late nights. We collaborated in a non-business environment. Speaking, we would contact each other 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, are you still up? Sorry to contact you so late. You know, but the reason being, these countries that we sought out to provide as the export plan, these countries' time is 9-hour time difference, 6-hour time differences. So we're staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning, because 1 o'clock in the morning our time is their normal business hours. So we're staying up to make sure that we can make those contacts and make sure that the contacts were effective. She stated sending out emails we found out wasn't the most strategic way to do business, because sometimes you can send an email, it may take days, it may take weeks, and we found out through our research that email just wasn't effective. There's no response, so we had to make those phone calls. So we set up Skype accounts to make those contacts, or international phone calls made, be it from our phone or from different avenues. But we wanted to make sure that when we presented this export plan both to our professor and to that of Miller Lehman, that it was definitely going to be a sound and strategic plan that they definitely can utilize in the future.
Thank you, folks.
Any questions?
Yes, questions? I believe we have
Mr. Schuster.
Did you all encounter any language barriers, especially dealing with the UAE?
Actually, no. One of the first questions that we ask when we Skype is, do you speak English? and the majority of the answers were yes, we speak English. You know, the interesting part about dealing with the UAE was that once you established that you wanted to do business with them, and once you established that, we basically had to take it from a perspective of, we have a client who's interested in bringing their product to you. What is the best method for you to receive that information? And sometimes they would request a PDF that Mr. Schuster had given us the ability to share. Other times it was through the trade show avenues, and that was really where we got a tremendous response, because trade shows obviously want you to come, but they also want your money. So they were very willing to send forth the exhibitor list, and that was sort of my line was, we have a client who's interested in your trade show. We need to see an exhibitor's list to see if it's a good fit. If it's a good fit, we'll forward the information. How can we get a hold of you? And it was amazing. I got 8 PDFs from the lady in the UAE in about 10 minutes. So I mean, it was once you let them know that you have an interest, it was much harder to approach it from, hi, I'm a student, I need information. I mean, you just couldn't go there. You had to kind of formulate a little bit. I had one lady actually ask me from Enterprise, Florida, who do you consult for? Well, about that. I'm a student, I had to kind of break that down for her. But, we found some great opportunities. Enterprise, Florida, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, they were one of our key contacts for them. And they, actually give grants for businesses here in Florida who manufacture their own products. And they would be willing to give them a grant to go to 2 incredible international trade shows and pay for half of it. So there's a lot of opportunity with reference to exporting here in Florida that we were made aware of that I was not ever currently aware of prior to this project. Mr. Schuster, welcome.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank the students and thank the professor here for doing a great job. I'm really excited to see the plan. I found these students to be very conscientious, and we, just to give you just a brief background here, we're, as you may know, right down in Orange Avenue here in the old bakery building, 800 Orange Avenue. And we've been very successful here the last few years in opening up the marine industry for our products, but we really haven't done anything internationally. That when someone here approached me about doing this project, we thought that this would be a perfect project to kind of focus for the students, and really excited to see what the results are and continue to grow our market in the various international areas where there's a good market potential for the product. So thank you very much.
Will we be interested in it once you start signing up some of these export deals, come back and tell us?
Absolutely, we'll do that.
All right. Any other questions, anyone? This is really exciting. Thank you very much.
Embry, Riddle.
Again, please introduce yourselves. You're on TV.
Good morning. My name is Daniela Kildis, and I'm Assistant Professor of Management at Embry, Riddle, Aeronautical University College of Business. We've been tasked to conduct export business plan for Deltron, company based in Daytona Beach, Florida. Our semester is traditional semester, and we have 40 students in my class. It's international business class. We start semester end of August till beginning of December. So 40 students is quite a large class. In order to accomplish task, I decided to divide the large class size into 10 groups, about 4 students per group. So we have 10 business expert plans, and my students will describe now how they approach a program, how they approach the project, and how they conduct secondary research.
Hi, my name is Diana. I'm staff at Embry Riddle. Well, one of the benefits of working at Embry Riddle is you get to go to school for free. So I do, and I'm pursuing my aviation business administration degree.
Good morning. My name is Olivia Crow. I'm a senior student at Embry Riddle Aeronautical University. I'm a little odd in this class, however, I am an engineering major, civil engineering specifically.
So as Dr. Curtis stated, we were a group of 40, and we chose our partners. Usually your first day of class, and obviously I'm a lot older than everyone else. When I walk in class the first day, they all think I'm the professor. I 7 straight, and I always sit in front of the classroom. And a couple of the students I already knew, so we formed a group of 4. Dr. Curtis was instrumental in explaining this project to us. From the very beginning of class, she outlined what we were going to do. I found it very exciting that rather than taking a company that was far outreaching, this was a local company. I felt that we would be helping a local company, and it just made it that much more interesting. Dr. Curtis set out for us exactly what was going to be expected of us. And one thing she also did was, while she was teaching the class, she incorporated things that we would learn in the class that would help us towards our marketing plan. And that was just really helpful for us, because I'm not an international business person. I just want to get my business degree. So I was it's a 300 class, so it's a higher class. And that was one thing she told us too. This is a 300 class. You're going to have to do 300 work. So she introduced us to the company, and I have to say that Deltron was more than willing to help us with everything we had to do. They came in and they spoke to the class. They invited us to their facility. We had a tour of their facility. Everyone on the business was very willing to show us everything about the company. I didn't even know the company existed. I mean, I'm from upstate New York. I've only been here 7 years, but I had no idea this company. This company already does export internationally, but they wanted to see where else they could. So once we had the discussion with the company, we came back, and first Dr. Curtis asked us to list countries that we might, we had to pick 5 countries and why. Then Dr. Curtis said, okay, she gave each one of the teams a country. And then we did our project plan on the country, our country. Olivia and I weren't in the same group. My country, we picked the United K. We didn't have to do long distance telephone communication. We did everything as a group. We Googled, we did searches, we met as a group late at night. I have to say that our marketing plan was probably this big. When Deltron has to get it, there's going to be a lot of information there. But it was a good learning experience, not only for learning about the company, but one of the things I think the students have to remember is you have to learn to work as a team. You're never going to be in a business just working for yourself. So this was an awesome project.
I was very fortunate in the team that I got paired with, 3 other individuals that were very bright and all business majors. So again, as an engineering major, I was a little bit behind the curve, but they were very patient with me and very helpful. And so was Dr. Curtis, again, was very informative throughout the entire project and very helpful. The country my group chose was Japan, and it's very interesting. I was agreeing with Diana, we got to learn a lot about not only Teltron as a company, but we learned a lot about Japan as a country and as a culture, and how companies have to be aware of that and incorporate that in their plans to export. Again, as an engineering major, this really opened my eyes to a lot of factors that need to be in the equation when you're dealing internationally with other countries and with your business. So one organization that I'm involved with deals with going internationally and finding a basic human need to solve a problem, engineering-wise, mainly with clean water and things like that. And we were looking at it as an engineering, obviously, you know, you solve the problem, you design a system, you design a filter, things like that. But this class really helped open my eyes in this project to the logistics behind things like that when you're working with other countries and you have to incorporate, you know, language barriers and cultural differences. Again, in this class, in our book, one of the interesting stories in the chapter was talking about the company Levi, the jean company, which I'm sure we're all familiar with, and how they adapt their product to different cultures. And so taking that, we tried to help Teltron and view, you know, is this a product that can be successful internationally? Obviously, they already have been, but in Japan specifically, or in the other countries that we chose. So I think it was a very successful project. I'm very grateful to have been a part of it, and I think we definitely learned a lot.
I don't want to interrupt, but what's Teltron? I don't know Teltron. I don't know the other folks on board. What is their product?
We have a representative.
Oh, good. Come.
Yes, please.
Okay, hi, I'm Brian Dawson, President and CEO of Teltron, and I want to say thank you to you guys for the wonderful work you did. You know, there's an assumption that we were doing things internationally. That's not entirely, I know our VP of sales came and probably told you that. We did one job. A client of ours in the U.S. who came and said, hey, we're going to do a project in Indonesia. Would you like to come with us? And we said, sure, and what a ride it was. But I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory. To answer your direct question, we manufacture electronic equipment that monitors seniors in their environment in assisted living communities. So everything from the help out fall and can't get up kind of product to environmental monitoring, doors, windows, screens, Alzheimer's, memory care, you name it, we manufacture for senior living. So I was in a CEO peer group of mine and was really challenged to do some international business going forward. When you run a smaller company, you don't really have a lot of cycles to be thinking about these kinds of things when you're busy trying to run a business. And so as I was sitting around saying to myself, how in the world are we going to get this done? I'm going to have this plan put together, some ideas put together in the next couple of months. And within an hour, I get a phone call from Sam, who I think you asked to call me, and said, hey, we're doing a project over here. How'd you like to have an international business plan put together? It really was great timing for us because we had to do it, and it was wonderful. So I'll tell you this, our experience with all the different countries that this group came up with and suggested to us, we learned a couple of key things that we probably would have stumbled into and made a lot of mistakes. That wasn't not for your research, and that is that we just assumed that we were going to go international with the same product or the same marketplace that we serve today. And what we found is from both the cultural differences in other countries where they kind of keep mom and dad at home as opposed to in senior living like we do, that probably our primary methodology for going international is going to be in the home as opposed to in a larger facility. We also probably learned that although these places don't have large facilities for living as a senior, they do have a pretty decent, not by our standards, but there's a pretty significant hospital presence in any of these developing countries. So maybe our market is through hospitals and homes. So we probably would have taken a while to figure that out, and you guys helped us with that a lot. So thank you very much. And thank you all for putting it together.